Imagine walking alone in a moonlit forest. There's no sound, except the wind brushing through the trees. Suddenly, a flicker in the shadows. You spin around, nothing. But deep down, you know, you're not alone. This was the fear the ninja inspired. They were the men and women who walked unseen. They didn't fight for glory. They fought to survive. They didn't seek honor. They dealt in deception, and they changed the course of Japanese history, not by standing in the spotlight, but by hiding in the dark. This is the story of the ninja. The real story, not the movie myths, but the men, women, tools, and tactics behind one of history's most mysterious warrior traditions. Part 1. Birth in the Mountains. Our tale begins in the Heian period, around the 8th to 12th centuries, in a Japan ruled by emperors but torn by rebellion. Central power weakened. In the provinces, warlords, called daimyo, rose to power, carving out territories with steel and blood. While the aristocracy bathed in poetry and incense in Kyoto, chaos ruled the countryside. In two isolated mountain regions, Iga and Koga, people lived differently. These were peasants, monks, and wanderers, common folk far from the reach of noble armies. With no samurai to protect them, they had to defend themselves. So they developed their own way of warfare, one not based on honor or rank, but on survival. It began with farmers who learned to use their tools as weapons, priests who studied herbs not just to heal, but to hermits who mapped the mountains and understood every hidden path. These people, outsiders, rebels, thinkers, began passing on secret teachings from family to family. This was the seed of ninjutsu, the way of stealth. Over generations, it grew into a powerful tradition, and those who followed it became the shinobi no mano, those who endure, or, as they are known in legend, ninja. Part 2. The Age of Shadows. By the 13th century, Japan was at war. The Kamakura shogunate had risen. The samurai ruled. But even they were not immune to betrayal. Battles weren't just won on fields. They were lost in the dark, by secrets whispered into the wrong ears. And in the shadows of this era, the ninja flourished. Their services were in high demand. Espionage, assassination, sabotage, scouting, psychological warfare. They became the masters of it all. They moved through enemy castles in servants' robes, sabotaged supply lines, lit enemy barracks on fire, and vanished into the night. Warlords hired them for missions too risky or dishonorable for samurai. The ninja weren't noble. They weren't loyal to any code but their own. But they were effective, and soon their power became feared. In Iga and Koga, ninja families formed clans, each with their own scrolls, styles, and strategies. They were secretive, tightly knit, and operated like miniature intelligence agencies, centuries ahead of their time. Their strength wasn't brute force, it was information, timing, and fear. Part 3. The Tactics of Invisibility. So how did the ninja do it? How did they move unseen, strike silently, and survive in a land filled with swords and honor? Let's step into their world. 1. Disguise and deception. Ninja rarely wore the famous black outfit. That was invented later by theater. In real life, they dressed like monks, merchants, beggars, peasants, or even soldiers. Anything to blend in. They mastered mimicry, learned local accents, customs, and even jokes. A skilled ninja could walk through an enemy camp in broad daylight and not be noticed. Some posed as performers, others as traveling priests. A few used female operatives as skilled in manipulation, seduction, and observation. 2. Tools of the shinobi. They carried small, easily hidden tools. Shuriken, throwing stars, but to distract, wound, or disorient. Kusarigama, a sickle with a chain used to trap weapons or trip enemies. Makibishi, spikes scattered on the ground to stop pursuers. Kaginawa, grappling hooks to scale walls. Hollow bamboo tubes to breathe underwater or blow powder in a guard's face. They wore tabi boots for silent movement, and sometimes padded armor beneath robes to muffle sound. Even their swords, called ninjato, were shorter and straighter than samurai katana, ideal for close quarters or stabbing upward through floorboards. 3. Fire, smoke, and fear. The ninja were masters of psychological warfare. They would light small fires in enemy camps, forcing soldiers to waste energy putting them out. They poisoned wells and made it look like disease. They spread rumors that a ghost haunted the hills, so enemy troops wouldn't dare advance at night. Some even used flash powders or primitive smoke bombs to escape tight situations. They created the illusion of magic, not because they believed in it, but because their enemies did. Part 4, The Mind of the Ninja. The ninja weren't just fighters. They were scholars, spies, and philosophers. They studied weather patterns, moon phases, animal behavior, architecture, and terrain. Every step was calculated, every risk measured. They practiced kujin, a series of hand signs believed to sharpen focus and channel inner energy. Part meditation, part magic. Even if you don't believe in the supernatural, the power of belief is real, and the ninja used it. Training began in childhood. Boys and girls alike learned to climb trees, leap silently, swim with weights, and even fake their own. Part 5. Legendary Missions and Masters. Some missions became legend. One story tells of a ninja who infiltrated a lord's castle disguised as a gardener. For months, he trimmed trees, swept leaves,
The Lord
and listened.
didn't put out his candle till well after midnight again.
That's the third night this week. He's been reading those scrolls from Kamakura.
Then, when the time was right, he slipped into the lord's chamber, silently, and vanished without a trace. Then there's Hattori Hanzo, perhaps the most famous ninja in history. He served Tokugawa Ieyasu, escorting him through enemy territory after the death of Oda Nobunaga. With only a handful of ninja, Hanzo helped Ieyasu escape from certain death, allowing him to rise and unify Japan.
Let the sword rest and the heart rise closer. For today, Japan walks as one.
Then there's Mochizuki Chiyomi, a noblewoman who trained orphan girls as spies and assassins. They posed as shrine maidens, fortune tellers, and traveling performers, gathering intelligence and carrying out missions across the country. These people were real, their methods were deadly, and their names still echo through the mountains of Japan. Part 6. The Fall of the Ninja. The early 1600s, Japan was united under the Tokugawa shogunate. The wars ended, peace reigned for a while, and with peace came the end of the ninja. The Iga and Koga clans were broken or absorbed into government service. Some ninja became bodyguards or secret police for the shogun. Others faded into legend, their arts forgotten, or kept hidden in scrolls passed down through families. As time passed, the image of the ninja became mythologized. Theaters portrayed them as black-clad shadows who vanished in clouds of smoke. Stories gave them superhuman powers, and so the real ninja disappeared. Again, not from the world, but into myth. Part 7. The Legacy of the Shinobi. Today, we still talk about ninja. You see them in anime, comics, video games, and action films. But beyond the myths lies a powerful truth. The ninja weren't just assassins or tricksters, they were survivors, strategists, innovators. They showed that victory doesn't always go to the strongest warrior, but to the most adaptable mind. They taught us that sometimes the greatest power lies in what you don't see. They proved that intelligence, patience, and understanding your enemy can be mightier than any sword. Their influence lives on in modern special forces, intelligence operations, and martial arts. And in every dark corner of history where someone won by being clever rather than cruel, a whisper of the ninja remains. The last footstep. So if you find yourself walking alone some night and the air feels still and the hairs on your neck rise for no reason, remember, the ninja were never meant to be seen, only felt. They were the wind, the shadow, the silence between footfalls. And though they vanished from history, they never truly left it. This is the story of the ninja, not the fantasy, not the fiction, but the shadow behind the sword.